when we go back, when we get out from this what's important is that we know that what we can do to embrace what we have learned, to embrace the social values in Islamic economics that we can actually provide, practice it, that we can actually practice in our daily lives. So the question is, if we're speaking about reality, how is it that we practice, how is it in our life that we can practice social values to make that social values, as per se Islamic economics, is a reality, so that it becomes a reality one day, inshallah. What can we do?
I have something in my mind about Islamic values. One of them, when you hear, إن الله يحب إذا عمل أحدكم عملا أن يتقنه. Okay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves when one of you do something, to do it to his best. Okay. Think about this value and to what extent we are practicing it. If you are a student, what is your job?
Study.
Your job is to study and to get the maximum knowledge and benefit from the 4 years you spend at Yamit University. Ask yourself, are you committing to these values? Are you doing your best? Some of you taking a class with me, feasibility study, and I was so shocked this semester to see some Malaysian students come late to the lecture. In the past they never did this. Something is changing. My explanation that the time you spend in Jordan, something changed your good attitude. Because it's like infection. It's like infection. I am teaching Malaysian students for a long time. The first time they start coming to Yamuk University. This is my first time to see the students getting away from Islamic values. Okay? So please, we are expecting from you the best. إن الله يحب إذا عمل أحدكم عملا أن يتقنه. When you go back to Malaysia, you have to remember these values. If you are teaching, do your best. Prepare good for your lectures. Treat students well. Remember your time when you were a student. Think of what you can do to your country, not what you can benefit from your country and take from it. I know when you are young, you like to change everything. You are not satisfied with anything. You like to see Malaysia tomorrow greater than the United States, or better in Canada than the United States. I know that. It's a problem. You are not settling for less than this. He likes to see the train in Malaysia more accurate than the one in Japan. In Jordan, we look at Malaysia, we go, some of us went there and visited Malaysia, and they came back and they were, we wish to be like Malaysia. You like to be like Japan, you see. This is the story. Okay. So these our practices, I think we are not close to practicing Islamic values, and I will tell you why. You might be surprised that we have more than 6,000 ayah in Quran. Those verses, people counted them, more than 6,000, probably 6,300 something. Imagine that only 200 to 300 ayah on ibadah, praying, paying zakat, etc. Only. And the rest, the thousands on values, akhlaq, morals, values, etc. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spent only 200 ayah for ibadah and the rest of Quran for Islamic social values and morals? Because Rasulullah said, ad-din al-mu'amala. Mu'amala implies also values. That is one thing to remember. The second thing, which I believe, the first and most important barrier to economic development in the Islamic world. Why Muslims are in so bad shape in the world? I will tell you the reason that I believe it. I think the reason is the dichotomy or the spread between ibadat and muamalat. It is like a brand new car. The engine is running very well, but it is not moving because there is no connection in the gearbox. You see? Our problem as Muslims, that we pray well and we might cry in the Fajr time, but when we finish praying, we forget all our Islamic teachings. If I have a shop, I might cheat in that. If I am a student, I might not study. If I am a professor, I might not go to my lecture, etc., etc. We are not committed to our religion, to our values. Our ibadah, our Islamic teaching is not guiding our behavior, our attitude, our deeds, and that is our problem. I lived more than 5 years in the United States. I watch them as an economist. I have to watch people, how they practice their economic life. I find them doing all Islamic teachings in their life as practices. But they are not believing or do ibadah. They are not praying, they are not paying zakat, etc., etc. But in their practices, they go to bed early. As the Sunnah said, it's not good to stay after Isha time. Go to bed early. And they start their day early in the morning. As in Islamic teachings, it's not recommended to sleep after Fajr prayer. If they do something, they try to do it best. If you want to insult someone, you will tell them that you did not work for 1 penny today. They find it insulting. In our society here in Jordan, you try to brag and be proud when you go home and say, today I did not produce anything to Yarmouk University. I spent all my day drinking tea and coffee and eat falafel. You feel proud. Is this consistent with Islamic values and Islamic teaching? Are we practicing Islam in this way? I don't think so. So when you watch our behavior, our deeds every day, you will find out people committed to what's called urf, what's adat, what's practices in the social life. Not they are obeying themselves to the Islamic practices. If you are not doing something, if you are not cheating, not stealing, not shouting, it is not because you are obeying Islamic teachings. Because you feel, you know the word in Arabic, aib, because this is aib, this is shameful. So you are afraid from the society, not from Allah. And this is what's called shirk. The small shirk. When you get fear from someone other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is shirk. The ulama call it shirk. Do you accept to be mushrik? So that's why you have to remember everything and ask yourself a question. Am I doing this for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Am I obeying Islamic teaching in my deeds? Or I am committed to my father and family and society? Remember this. And remember that to be consistent between your prayers, your ibadat, and your behavior, your muamalat. If we reach this point in the Islamic world, I think we will change ourselves. إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم. Never think our crisis, our economic backwardness will stay unless we change ourselves. And I believe to change ourselves, we have to be committed to Islamic teaching, and our practices should be consistent with our beliefs.
Inshallah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Jazakallah khairan kathiran for the answers that you were giving. I'm speechless. I'm left speechless. And I believe that everyone in this class is also. We're left speechless with the reality that's actually happening. We know that it's true. Are we? Yes. We know that it's true, and we are committed, inshallah, in trying to do our best, our very best, to make this to change. Yeah, for everyone to change for the sake of Allah, for the sake of Islam. As we know, it's our responsibility. It's not something that we learn today in doctor. It's actually what we needed to do when we were born. You know, it's from the very start. We're supposed to do it from the very start. It's not just supposed to be now. But since we have been lost, we have not been guided as well as we should. I mean, we have to start now, inshallah. We will have a session of questions and answers. I open to the floor, anyone who would like to question, to ask any of our panelists regarding the social values in Islamic economics, regarding what we have heard, regarding what can we benefit more from this forum, inshallah. So, any raises of hands? Yeah. Please recognize yourself, your name, your faculty, and your question.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ismi Shazmi bin Muazziri. سنة ثالثة اقتصاد الإسلام والمصاريف ومن بهنجين من بهنج. أنا رئيس لجامعة الطلبة في البحرين. سوسة جزاكم الله خيرا لكم على هذا اللقاء ما شاء الله مفيدا للجميع إن شاء الله وأنا أتمنى أن كل الطلاب المنزليين ممكن نمارس باللغة العربية وإنجليزية كمان في المستقبل إن شاء الله حتى تكون مثلكم إن شاء الله. والسؤال الأول باللغة الإنجليزية. I have a very hard arguments in my life about the Islamic economics principle and social principle as Dr. had mentioned, and also about the tatbiq of Islam in our daily life. I have some socialist friends that asked me about so many questions and told me to write clear-cut arguments about how Islamic economic principle can contribute to the betterment of our life. An example, if in Malaysia, as Gardner said in the Muktamar Sukuk, has stated that the fact that in Malaysia we have maybe the most biggest capital market of Islamic Sukuk in the world. And also we have so many products in Islamic terms and so many bishura and so many products. But at the same time, the household debt in Malaysia is increasing. So among the problem that my socialist friend stated to me, what is the alaqah or what is the relationship between the increasing or the betterment of the Islamic system in Malaysia that can contribute to household debt in Malaysia. So maybe the doctor can give me some idea on how to explain this to my beloved friends.
Household debt you said, not the country debt, not the public debt.
No,
just the household debt.
Yeah.
Okay. It's up to you. It's up to you. I can give some short answer. In Malaysia, they used to have some problems. You have some socialist, Marxist, especially students in there. Al-Qardawi one time went there and they asked him a question. They said, your Islamic teaching is biased toward capitalists. We have those rich people in Malaysia, they are not paying zakat because they are growing orange, etc., etc. But people who are growing wheat or etc., they are paying zakat. So he wrote a book on that and saying zakat is general for all types of wealth. This is one thing. The other thing that you have to read more to have a debate with a socialist person to clarify Islamic economic concepts and systems, and you are learning here at Yarmouk University. But I recommend to you to have more readings on Islamic economics. For household debts, it's a problem. It's a problem in managing the income of the usra, of the household. And so many times I went to TV or either broadcasting here in Erbil or in Amman to tell families how to organize their economic aspects, how to spend their income without getting some household debts. This is related to Islamic values. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said good things about people who are not spreading their hands, meaning that they spend more than what they need to spend, or bring their hand to close their hand to, meaning that they are so thrifty and nothing. So try to be wasata, try to be in the middle, try to be rational. This is when you follow Islamic teachings and you spend your income according to these teachings, you try to balance between your income and your needs. In Islam, Islam shows us how we order our needs. Say that certain things, daruri, when you study in kulliyah, daruri, and then haji, and then tahsini. Some of them are necessities. Some of them are less than that and then less than that. So I will spend my income at the necessities at the beginning. In this way, I will not go to household debts by following my Islamic teachings. Oh, I answered part of your question at least. Anyone else?
May I ask a question? My question is direct to my issue, because Malaysia is partly state, or our economy is partly state, following the state a lot. I mean, the government, decides a lot of economic policies.
Do you have numbers? Like percentage, public sector?
Public sector.
The contribution to the GDP? Oh, no problem. I thought
This
you
will
had.
be a practice, because people in Malaysia will ask us.
Okay.
All I know is that majorly, we have a lot of policies that make the government more in control of the economic than the private sectors, and we have private sectors that are mainly controlled by a lot of non-Muslims. For example, like Chinese and everything. So, for example, like Islamic banks, for example, we have Islamic banks, but they're mainly probably funded by the government, and they're even based on conventional banks. For example, like Maybank Islamic is one of the biggest Islamic banks in Malaysia, but it's based on conventional bank. Maybank Islamic is conventional bank. So with these policies, I mean, it contradicts with us as an Islamic economic student that wants to practice Islamic economy. So what do you think is your advice? For us we don't. It's not that we don't have power, it's just, for a small step for us. What can we do in the beginning?
I think at the beginning we have to believe in a gradual change, not revolution in this sense. And to remember in our history that the Jews in Medina used to control the economy. We know that Abdurrahman bin Auf, when he came to Medina, he said, I'm expert in business, and he became one of the richest Muslims in Medina. We have to believe in a gradual change. As Muslims, we believe in living with non-Muslims. And dhimmi, man ada dhimmiyan faqad adani. Our Islamic teachings take care of those non-Muslims in our society. But usually, we have the upper hand. We're supposed to have, as Muslims, the upper hand in the society. But now, unfortunately, non-Muslims controlling the business and the economy in most of Islamic countries. Let me say something. Some Muslims, they misunderstand Islamic teachings. They think that maximizing the profit and accumulating wealth is something bad. And to be humble and poor and etc. is good. You are a good Muslim. No. Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab used to have like a stick and hit someone who is walking like a miskin or a simple person. Our religion is not telling us this. I should maximize my wealth and my profit and pay it as zakat and give charities to needy people and spend يسألونك ماذا ينفقون قل العفو. I will spend all the extras that I don't need. But at the beginning, I have to be efficient because maximizing the profit is the efficiency for allocating our resources. And for your part that your economy is toward public sector, that most of the contribution coming from the public sector, I don't think this is a big problem, because if you manage it well, it is okay. The growth rate is okay. But as you know, we have the principle of privatization, moving from public sector to a private sector. I hope you do not do it like the Jordanians here. We sold our public assets for corruption, and our debts, public debts, increased even after we sold our public asset. So public sector or private sector is not so decisive, so important thing in economic development. You might have a good partnership between the private sector and public sector. But the most important thing is the efficient performance of the economy. Are the public policies are efficient and well managed? Are they bring the best expert to the government to conduct our economic policy or not? This is the important question.
I open another chance. Anyone? Yeah.
Perhaps. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Faizin bin Muhammad Shamsuddin. I am Islam Sarif, Tajir. And I want to give first one of my opinion, and then I will proceed to the question. I think that my sister Nafisa, my friend Nafisa said that I think that it is wrong to believe that Islamic banking is the mover to the Islamic economies, because Islamic banking is just a part, and the Islamic economy is the whole system. So it is wrong to believe that we solely rely on Islamic banks to encourage our Islamic social values. It is wrong. And but everyone seems to believe that when we use term itisad or masarif, economics and banking, we used to believe that if we cure our banking system, we cure the economy. It's not. It is not. And when we say about values, I think that our problem is we have a Harvard student, Stanford student who study about values. We have professors who study about values, but then corruption, the system fails again and again. The highest PhD, but the system fails again and again. And what I think one of the scholar of Malaysian scholar, Prof. Said Muhammad Nakib Alatas said that the sole problem is the qillatul adab, the problem of adab. So my question is, there is a study, because if we have values, we have fiqh is some kind of values. We have values, but thus we must have a tasawwuf to move to that values, because we can have 1,000 of values written. But I think that maybe you can explain to us that how about the tasawwuf in economics too? It's like the mover to the car to move, right? So can you explain about this?
First of all, I have to agree with him that Islamic banks is a small part of our Islamic life. We believe that Islamic banks is part of Islamic economic system. And also this is not enough for us. It should be part of our Islamic regime, Islamic life, in social, political, judicial, everything. Islam cannot take in part as part. You cannot have only Islamic banks or even Islamic economics alone. You have to have Islamic life in the society. And to make this car move forward, I don't know that much about Sufism, to be honest with you. And I'm not sure that in Sufism, are they emphasizing values as in beliefs or in daily life and their practices? Are they Sufis in their settings, in their nights, in their jalsa, tasawwuf only, or they are different, they are Sufis in their daily practices? Okay? If I go to buy from a shop, from someone, I find the treatment and everything is different because he is Sufis. I'm not sure about that. Okay? Because unfortunately, sometimes people will say, be careful, this is a sheikh. He might cheat you, unfortunately. Go to that, a Christian businessman, he will be honest with you. This is sad to me. It's too bad to hear that in our societies. You see, to make this car move, as he mentioned, from childhood, we have to teach our kids how to be honest, how to reflect their practices, their behavior on their beliefs, and their beliefs on their practices. In their childhood, they be honest, they tell the truth, they do the best. Never go, even if you conduct exam. I'm a professor in the university. When I give the exam to the students, if you are a Muslim, is it okay to cheat in the exam? You see? Haram. In the States, all the professors, they give the exam to the students and they go to their office. And they leave them for 2 hours. No one will even think of cheating, opening a book or talk to his or her friend. No one. Why non-Muslims practices, as I mentioned, Islamic teachings? And Muslims practices non-Islamic teachings. This is sad, this is too bad. So to make this car moving forward, we have to make sure from the beginning and in all aspects of our life to remember all the time, am I practicing my beliefs or not? Inshallah, in the future, things will be much better.
Yeah, I agree. And I would like to add a little that I agree that Dr. Qasim talked about it starts with the early birth of people and it needs to start immediately. But when we're talking about we as we are, we're about 20 years old, 21, 24, around that, 20. It's, we have to change ourselves and we have to try something to do to change others. In terms of being a better Muslim, in terms of practicing Islam in your everyday life, in terms of not cheating, in terms of coming to classes early, it's something that we have to generate from ourselves, from our hearts, lead from our hearts, and we believe so because we're Muslims. And we have to try to penetrate people's hearts to teach them also. Yeah. So that is it. And I open if there's another question, yeah, and I believe this is the last question, inshallah. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
My name is Ahmad. My name is Director Islamic. Sorry. My question is, what's the economic system that